Hiya. So this is a somatics lesson. I forgot to record it yesterday, so this is done especially for you guys as asked for the recording. So yeah, thank you. What am I going to do today? So yeah, similar things to what we've been doing in the past few weeks. I did a really good speech yesterday about this and how I felt about it. Yeah, it connects into what I've been teaching in this week's lessons for the yoga, and where I've read a really interesting book called The Story of Yoga, written by Alistair Shearer, that tries to tell everybody where yoga came from and how we've got from where it was and to where it is. Initially yoga was about the mind yoga. It's all about ways of connecting this idea that deep within us we've got consciousness, pure consciousness. And wrapped around that, we've got the layers of thoughts, we've got our ego, we've got physical pains and so on. And so in years ago, it was a very spiritual practice. People used to chant and people used to do rituals to try and get to this thing that this I wouldn't say I'm not religious at all, but it's within this idea that there's a God within you, and the word namaste means greetings to the God within you. So it's actually trying to go deep within. And it's funny because I knew that was a translation, but I think until I really read again the history of it, didn't resonate. And I thought, wow, it's quite a deep phrase that. Anyway, so going back to this book that I've been reading, Patanjali, he was a sage who put together all the strands of yoga into what he thought was yoga. Yoga is different things to different people. I mean, we've got, like I said, we've got the chanting, we've got the mind yoga. There's different strands of yoga, as in we've got Ashtanga yoga, as in like the physical, like really going for it. Karma yoga is obviously doing selfless action. Bhagavad Gita is all about that. But Patanjali's yoga, he came out with this book called the Yoga Sutras, all trying to get to this place of pure consciousness, and it gives us a little pathway there, and it's called the 8 limbs of yoga. So what we've been doing in the other lessons, my yoga lessons, is looking at the 8 limbs. So we've got the yamas, which is outward ways of being, so being non-violent, being truthful, and non-stealing, non-grasping, that type of thing. And then the niyamas, which is what we were looking at last week in the other lessons, which are things you can apply to yourself. So being clean of mind, thought, body, contentment. What else is there? There is like having a really strong, fiery work ethic. I think it's like having austerity. Some people really like to, well, I don't, but they like to punish themselves as a way of kind of releasing ego. What else is there? Self-study, and then devotion. But then the next limb is posture, and all that Patanjali says about posture really is that the physical postures should be steady and comfortable, and they are mastered when all effort is relaxed and the mind is absorbed in the infinite. And I thought that this was a really nice thing to apply to the somatics lessons. And we're not doing pure gentle somatic yoga, we're doing lots of different ways of moving, and it's just the idea of connecting not just to our thoughts and to just movement for movement's sake, but really tuning in to the movement and the sensation, and to try and do it with ease. So I thought that just think about those words, the physical postures. We're not doing postures here, we never do postures, it's movements. So we could try and change it slightly. The physical movements should be steady and comfortable, and they are mastered when all effort is relaxed and the mind is absorbed. And I'm not going to say into the infinite, but actually into sensation. So let's lay down and make a little start. So I'm not going to lie down. You don't need to see me lying down, because you should be lying down with your eyes closed. So just make yourself nice and comfortable on the floor. I'm just going to close our eyes and begin to tune in. So these lessons, like I say, are it's about movement, and all we're trying to do is unpick our response to the world and how the impact it's made in the body. Our bodies become accustomed to the actions that we do and the way that we respond to things. Within somatics, there's a few theories of how we are and how our bodies became shaped, and it's to do with the reflexes in the body. So we have our red light reflex. So imagine if I was to jump out on you and shout boo, do you tense immediately in your tummy, and you feel it in your groin, and it's like a recoiling? You want to curl up into a ball. And some people's reflex to someone shouting boo might be, right, I'm going to punch you in the face. And it's like the back tightens and the chest pumps up. And then there's another reflex, which is your trauma reflex. And that is actually when you've had an accident or an injury, or you've, over time worn something down, and the muscles around that place where you've had the accident tends to tighten. And they've just completely forgotten how to fully let go. So our bodies are shaped by the lives that we've had. And as you're laying on the floor, just know that this lesson is going to really try to help you unpick the way we have been to ourselves. So we're just checking in really on how we are resting into the floor. So don't be like a scientist. I don't need to think about getting out rulers and measuring tapes, but if you could, scan the body from the back of the head to the very base of the pelvis. Could you check in on how long that part of the body feels? Noticing all the contours of the spine. Do we have any sense or awareness of the back of the neck? Do we feel and have any sense or awareness of the lumbar spine? Do we feel or have any sense or awareness of the spine that connects the ribs to each other? And do we know where our tailbone is? So that tailbone, it's right at the base of the pelvis, right just at the top of the crease of the buttocks. It's actually a continuation of the spine. I guess we used to have tails, didn't we, years and years and years ago. It's time to play a game of spot the difference. So just taking your awareness down each side of the body. So we've got 2 arms, 2 hands, 2 elbows, 2 shoulders, 2 hip bones, 2 knees, 2 legs, 2, whatever you've got 2 of, spot the difference. Are they both the same? Do they feel the same, or do we sense them differently? And spend a little time just concentrating your pelvis. From the crest at the front of the pelvis, awareness down to where you sense the pubic bone. Around the back to the crests again at the back of the hips, sacrum. Then you can picture your thigh bones sitting in the sockets. And then drifting down past the knees. Do the knees turn upwards? Do they turn slightly outwards? Down the shins to the feet. And again to the feet. Point upwards. Do they turn outwards? Do they meet the floor in the same way? You can do the same with the arms. Are they away from the body? And do the hands touch the ground in the same way? Are you relaxed? Is there any way you could just think about doing this posture? This, it is a posture, it's Shavasana. Could you do it a little bit with a bit more ease? A little bit more softness? So let's now bring our focus to our head and where it meets the floor. And just turn the head just a few degrees one way and then a few degrees the other way. And just noticing as you're turning the head where it wants to fall. Just think about your head falling one way and then falling the other way as you're laying in the floor. I'm just going to lay down now and close the door actually. Following how your head leans into the floor. Imagine for your head to turn, you're actually turning your spine. There's a rotation in your spine as you turn your head. So the next time your head comes to look above you, just keep it there, and then we're going to just step our feet inwards, in towards our hips, and have your feet standing up on the floor. And you can then send your focus to your pelvis. And just roll, lean, tilt your tailbone forwards towards the floor. Imagine that as you do that, you can just imagine like a little bug, a little ladybird, a little mouse, something, that's not scary as run under your back. It could pass through with ease. And then we're going to just roll through the pelvis and sink the lower back into the floor. So this way nothing will be able to run under your back. Again, roll your pelvis forwards. And then again, roll your pelvis and flatten the back. I'm just doing this a few times, just watching, sensing how you do it. Feeling the weight of the pelvis and how the pelvis connects to the spine, and this is why we're feeling the arching. And also muscularly, as we're doing this, to tilt the pelvis forwards and into the floor, the back muscles are actually tightened. And then as you sink the lower back into the floor, the tummy muscles have actually tightened and the back muscles have released. So we could just tune into the muscular action, visualising the muscles tightening, visualising the muscles releasing, visualising which part of the body feels longer at any given moment. And then we could even think about the head. Is it nodding in agreement? Is there a coordination between the pelvis and the head? And as you're doing this, do you feel actually between your thighs and your heels like they're coming towards each other? So without pausing, let your feet take over. Just feel that you could pull your heels towards your bottom and then push your feet forwards. And this is going to continue that movement with no change. Just notice how your feet are connecting into the floor, the footprints you're making, and how your feet then seem to connect to your knees. Do you feel this movement in your knees? And how you feel your feet connecting to your hips, and how your feet therefore connecting to your spine, and how your feet connecting to your head. And I'm just going to pause and let everything go. So can we now let our left hip lean into the floor as we let our right hip begin to lift up? Keeping both knees standing up. And again, just drop your right hip back down into the floor very slowly. And again, we're going to lift the right hip off the floor by letting the left hip stay on the floor. So we're going to keep the shoulders on the floor. The left side leans more deeply into the floor as the right hip floats up, the right ribs float up. And again, relax back into the floor. I'm just doing that again a few times. Just do that on that left side, right hip floats up. And maybe notice if you can do this by just pushing your right foot down and forwards, and again getting that sensation that that right foot through the knee is connected to the hip and therefore into the spine. Pushing your right foot down and forwards, allow yourself to roll towards the left. Just tune into the sensations you feel. Do you feel your spine arcing and your ribs kind of opening out on the left and the right side shortens? Just do that again a few more times in your own time. And then release. How do we sense the body? And then do the same with the left side. So we're going to let the right hip stay on the floor as we let the left hip come up away from the floor. And again, allow yourself to slowly return to earth. And again, knees are pointing up. Feeling how the right side leans in, shoulders connect to the floor. That left side is lifted off the ground. Again, slowly return to earth. There's no need to rush, just take your time. And again, we can notice that if we push more with that left foot, allow the movement to come from the left foot. Pushing into the floor of the left foot, knee, hip, roll it. And notice how we've got that beautiful arc into the right. So the right side lengthens, the left side shortens, creating a little bow. Heart turns to the right. And now we're going to do that again, push with the right foot. As you do that, let your head roll to the right. And then again, allow yourself to come to centre. And then this time push with your left foot. And as you push with your left foot, let your head roll to the left. And as you do that, just inquire, does it feel easier to roll one way than the other? And often what I find with this is really slowing the movement down actually gives a little bit more reward, more sensation. So slow the movement down, slowly press into your left foot and allow the body to begin to roll to the right, and just feel how we can let the weight of the head lean into the floor. And again, just releasing softly back to centre and get the head to roll back to centre. And again, as we push with the right foot, feel how it feels nice just to let go of the weight of the head. And just see if we can do that a few more times. Maybe speed it up now. I'm just going to let go of this. I'm going to now just think about taking the hips in a circular action. So imagine you've got a little clock on your belly. And you're going to go from number 6 at the tailbone, around maybe to number 9 on the right side, to number 12 by the belly, to number 3 on the left side, and number 6. So going all around that pelvis. Think about this as being a lovely massage for the lower back. So again, just imagine going all around the rim of the clock. Think about what the front of the body is doing. Where is the belly button doing? Is it circling? What is the pubic bone doing? And then what is the back doing? How do we sense the back? And we can go back, reverse time, go the other way. Reverse time. And then let go, just come to centre. And then again roll the tailbone towards the floor. So again we could even think about finding number 6. And again roll through the centre of the clock and find number 12. Go slowly first. Does this feel different to as we did it before? Do we feel that there's a bit more movement through the spine? Do we get a really good connection between head and neck? Bring your focus into your shoulders as you bring your tailbone to the floor and push forward with the feet. Feel there's more movement through the shoulders. The spine is really well connected through the head, through the shoulders. I'm going to speed it up. And then we're just going to bring the feet together, let the knees fall wide and slide them forwards, and just allow yourself just to rest into the floor. Taking all the time that you need to breathe. Taking all the time you need to breathe out. So from this place, just find a really good place to place your arms on the floor. And if you could take them above your head, that'd be wonderful. But the biggest thing is connection, allowing everything to connect into the floor. Don't let your arms be off the floor. We're going to try to find ease of movement. And we're going to look at our hands. We just turn your head to look towards your left hand. And imagine that just if there's something just above your left hand and you want it, you can slide your hand. Can you see me? So I'm in a funny position in this room today. My tripod's broken, so I've got my phone on top. Yeah, just imagine that you can try and reach, you're looking at your left hand to the left. Looking with your eyes, imagine that, you've dropped something on the floor and you kind of want it, but you can't move, and then just allow your arm just to relax back to centre. So you're still looking at your left hand, and just imagine, maybe imagine you've fallen out of a tree, you've been trying to pick an apple, that's nice analogy.
and you really want your telephone and you just want to reach to get it. So feel where you can reach from the heart, through the shoulder to the hand. And again, then just allow yourself to relax back, just feeling everything just shrinking back to centre. And again, reaching out for your left hand, looking with your eyes. Feel how you might even be pushing and leaning into the floor of your right elbow. And again, release. And again, just trying to reach out beyond your left hand. Again, feel what's happening on your right side too. And again, then just allow yourself to release. And we're just going to do that a few times. Reaching to the right, to the left. Oh, it's your left. And again, coming back. Just play with that movement. And just feeling your ribs expanding outwards. And out almost through the little fingers of your left hand. Feel what your spine's doing within you as you're doing this, a little wiggling of your spine. Do you feel this in your left hip, your right shoulder? And then turn your head back to centre. And we're going to move with our right arm. So now just reposition the arm. So slide your left hand just a little bit lower than your left shoulder and turn your head to look towards your right arm. And again, just imagine you just want to reach again towards this telephone. Reach. And again, allow the body to release into the floor. So again, I'm just going to turn around so again, if you do need to see, you can see it a bit better. So you reach with your right hand, and again, just releasing back to centre. So again, you reach with your right hand, and again, releasing back to centre. Reaching with your right hand. And again, coming back to centre, reach with your right hand. And again, just noticing what your left arm's doing. You might feel yourself leaning into the floor with your left hand. You might feel your ribs just reaching softly to the right. Again, a whole body movement. And then release to centre. And turn your gaze back to the ceiling. We're going to bend our knees. So let's stay on our right side. Straighten out your right leg and have your left knee bent. And take your right hand, again, over you, just off the floor, behind, either just in line with your shoulder or slightly behind, back of the hand on the floor. And your left hand is down by your side. And all what you to do is just pick it up. So keep the elbow on the floor, lazily pick the lower half of the hand off the floor and then just drop it back down. So again, lazily pick the left lower hand arm off the floor. So the elbow stays on the floor. Let the fingers turn towards the body. And again, slowly drop the hand back down. Slowly pick the hand up, turn the fingers towards the body. Again, slowly drop it back down. And maybe what we can do this time is slowly take the hand up off the floor, drop the hand up onto the right shoulder, and then slide it towards your right elbow. And look at the hand and just stop where you feel there's any effort and then slide it back. And again, drop the left hand back down by your side. And then we're going to take again that left hand up off the floor, hand to the right shoulder, slide it towards the right arm, and again look and just notice, I've already gone a bit further. Do you feel your left shoulder coming away from the floor? Again, slide it back. So minimum effort. So less effort is more. Sliding your left hand towards your right wrist. Just notice where this starts to move. So within the third one, I can now feel this is reaching my left hip. So just notice, feel as you move the arm along the right arm where you feel the body begin to move. You might start to feel that you might want to begin to push into your left foot. So we're not using any effort. If you feel you have to mechanically push into left foot, just pause, go back a step and slide the hand very lazily along the arm. It might be that there's a really nice need to push into the left foot. If you are, just keep sliding your left hand towards your right hand and keep your gaze on the hand. And then we're going to slide it back and look, rolling through the bones back onto your back. And again, take your left hand to drop back down by your side. Again, you pick the left hand up, slide it to the right shoulder, slide it up the arm, head staying on the floor. Follow the movement through the arms to the hip. When you feel it meet the hip, gentle push. Keep the knee standing up and you're sliding that left hand as far as it wants to go. Notice as you do this that your chin's probably tilted away from you And your spine's actually arcing gently, and then slide it back onto your back. Drop your hand back down by your side. Just do it a few more times. So please don't push the foot first. Let that push just be just something to ease you deeper into the movement. So this is, to me, the beautiful connection into the hips. So you notice your hand is connected to your hip, isn't it? For you to get that hand to touch the other hand, you've got to roll through the hips, whole body movement. So just let, you want these movements to feel kind of worthy of doing and useful and meaningful to you. And then we're going to allow ourselves just to rest and surrender into the floor, stepping your feet out in front of you. Arms resting down by your side. And just picturing and sensing, how do you feel on the left side? So we're going to do that on the opposite side. So again, I'm just going to spin myself around. Let me see if I can just readjust this camera without it falling. Apologies for the outfit. Didn't really think this one through. That's a little bit better. Okay, so what we're doing, we are facing, going to do the left side, aren't we? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So we've got the left leg bent, not bent, we've got the left leg straight, but the right leg bent this time. Foot's just resting on the floor in front of the right hip, so just think about your foot standing up. And your left arm is somewhere in line with the shoulder or slightly behind. And your right hand again, just have it down on the floor by your side, and again, just think about, imagine that you're a puppet and someone is just picking up the string on your wrist. So you're just going to lift the wrist and then drop it back down. Lift the wrist, drop it back down. So you keep the elbow on the floor. Just do that a few times. And then we can maybe allow, as we lift the wrist, to spin the fingers towards the belly and the chest. Take this right hand and drop it onto the left shoulder and start to slide it towards the left elbow. Just notice where it starts to feel that you have to use effort, and then slide it back down the arm to the chest and then back down by your side. And just do it again. So sense the movement. Where do you feel it reaching through the shoulders and the ribs? One side might be a little bit more accommodating and easier to feel than the other. And that is our sensor, motor, amnesia. All the movement. Where do we feel it? Where do we feel it reaching? So again, I don't need to lift the head, we're not forcing the hand down towards the other hand. It's just a slow, repetitive movement, even micro movements. Take your time to feel. Oh, notice when your head begins to turn. Notice when you start to feel a movement reach your right hip, and then it might be that there's very, very little effort needed to sink your right foot into the floor and allow this right hand to travel towards the left hand. Ooh. And just let notice where your chin might lift a little bit, keeping your knee pointing to the ceiling, and again roll and sink onto your back, let everything go. Hand finds the chest, slides across the shoulder, down the elbow, and again you feel it reach the hip, tiny little push, right hip floats, and let your head tilt back. And as you come down, think of the weight of your right hip coming into the floor, rolling through the bones, feeling your spine lengthen within you as you release into the floor. So again, least effort, no pandiculations happening here. Just allowing releasing sensations to help us heal. Again, feeling how your hand is connected to your hip. That movement is through the entire spine. Beautiful rotations through the entire spine as the hand moves, the elbow, the shoulders, the rib cage, feeling how the ribs lean into the floor. Chin willingly reaches back. And again, allow yourself to just allow it to again sink into the floor. Again, we can slide our feet away. Allow ourselves to again rest and surrender into the floor. Again, how do we sense the body here? Do the shoulders meet the floor? Do you feel that, sometimes I find that, personally speaking, that the body's kind of not trusting of the floor, it's almost holding itself back. And what these movements do are just let the body know that it's okay to let go of that tension. And just take now just a really big deep breath and just notice how it feels to breathe. Just notice where you feel your breath in your ribs, your abdomen, the pelvis, the neck. How the ribs meet the floor as you breathe in. And just taking your time just to again, feel and surrender. And these rests are very important. Your nervous system is just doing less and less. So from here, we're going to just, again, have our knees bent, have our feet resting into the floor in front of our hips. And where I am visible on time. Again, very lazily with your left hand. Think again about the puppeteer with your wrist, lifting the hand up, again dropping it down. Lifting the hand up, and dropping it down. And lifting the hand up. And let your fingers spin in towards your belly. Again, drop it down. Do that a few times. And then, let the hand drop onto your chest. And slide it up your chest. Over your chin, up over your nose, up over your forehead. Onto the ground just above your head and slide the fingers away. Notice how the palm might want to turn up, and then you're just going to let the hand rest into the floor. Shoulder begins to rest into the floor. It might be that above the head might not be very comfortable, so you might just want to slide it away from you. And then reverse it, slide the hand back in. Notice how the elbow begins to turn towards the ceiling. Bringing the hand again onto the crown of the head, down the forehead, down the nose, down the mouth, down the chin, down the chest. Again, let it roll and find the floor by your side. And then we can do it again, sliding the hand in, and along the chest, along the chin, up the nose, up the forehead, and out, and beyond. And let it find a good place of support. And again, repeat it. And what I like about this is the shoulders are a very interesting place, aren't they? The shoulders are very interesting indeed. We can, shoulders are only attached to the body through a little group of muscles. There's not a very deep socket, and tends to be a bit of a pressure point in the body. So it might be you want to just play with this and just maybe even linger over certain movements. I mean, the other week when I first started practicing this, I found there was like quivering into my left shoulder at certain points, and I, rather than just kind of go, oh, not like that, I would just kind of inquire about that quiver, and I was just refining the movements where I found places of interest. So I would encourage you to do that. Just refine the movement in your own way. And then drop your hand down by your side. And just sense how the arm connects into the body and the shoulder connects into the body. And then we turn our attention to the opposite side. So again, like a little puppeteer, picking up the right hand, dropping it back down by your side, and fingers spinning towards the belly and the chest. And I can take the right hand and again drop it onto the chest, sliding it up over the breastbone, over the chin, over the lips, over the nose to the forehead, and again up onto the ground above us, sliding the hand away, and then slide the hand back in, back over the head, back down by the belly, and back down by your side. And again, just noticing how that hand wants to find the floor, whether or not you need to take the arm a little bit further away. Again, as I said, that shoulder is a very interesting place. It might be somewhere that you might have incurred an injury. You might just want to linger over that point and just, again, do the work with a little less tension, a little less effort. Lingering over certain movements. It might be you just kind of go over part of it again and again. Feeling the connection of the arm into the spine. Slow the movement down if you need to. Doing the whole movement if you need to. And then bringing your hands back down by your side. Just let your arms rest down by your side. So again, we have our knees bent, don't we? We've got our feet resting into the floor. We're going to move our awareness again back to our left hand. So again, bring it in so it breezes softly over the chest, over the chin, over the nose, and finds the floor. And as you reach away, push with your left foot into the floor. Allow your knees to roll to the right. And then as we bring the hand back in overhead, bring our hips back to the floor. Just drop your hand down by your side. Again, the hand goes over the belly, over the chest, up onto the forehead and onto the floor. And as you reach the hand away, just gently push with your left foot and allow your knees to roll to the right. Left shoulder will come off the floor, left hip will come off the floor. And again, allow yourself to roll back onto your back as the hand comes back down, to rest back down by your side. And we'll just do that one more time. And let your hand rest down by your side. And we'll do the same with the right hand. So again, slowly bring the right hand up the chest, up the chin, up the nose, let it find the floor, and then this time as the hand reaches the way, allow yourself to push with your right foot. The right shoulder finds its way off the floor, so does the hip, and again come back, relax down. Just repeating 2 more times. And then let's allow ourselves just to rest into the floor. Bring the feet together, knees fall wide, slide your feet forwards, and again just allow yourself to rest into the floor. So from here we're going to bring our feet together just in front of the hips. Soles of feet touching knees wide. And then start to roll your tailbone forwards towards the floor, so coming into flower pose. So again, imagine as you roll your tailbone towards the floor, just imagine you could get that little animal rolling underneath your back, and then sink your lower back into the floor. And again, roll your tailbone forwards towards the floor, and then again sink your back into the floor. Just noticing anything you can feel in your spine. Do you feel your spine is involved? Do you feel this movement travelling up into the head? Muscular feeling as we roll the tailbone into the floor. Feel the muscles, the back tightening to lift the lower back. And as we roll the lower back into the floor, do you feel those muscles again in our tummy tightening? We've got those 2 reflexes here. We've got the green light reflex as we roll the tailbone, back muscles tightening. And as we sink the lower back into the floor, we have the red light reflex. We have the muscles, the tummy tightening. So just roll between those 2 points, but just notice your knees are flapping like little butterfly wings. And just feel the good communication into the feet. Feel pressure change into the feet. Could we do this with the feet? Could we just relax the feet the knees for a second, and then push into the big toe side of the foot. Just feel that movement come into the lower back and into the head, and the knees lift a little bit. And then as we bring our focus across the feet towards the outer edges, we feel the knees go wide and the spine arch again. We've got a little sense for that space for the animal to go. Again, pushing into the feet. We feel the knees come together a little bit. So we're not bringing the knees together, it's just a little movement. And again, as we roll the tailbone forwards, feel the knees drop wide. So let the feet flap the hips, let the feet move the lower back, let the feet make its communication known into the head. Slow it down, speed it up, have a little play. And then slide your feet forwards and allow yourself to rest into the floor. Standing your feet up just in front of your hips. Just going to return to our arch and flatten, the very first movement we did. Just see if we can feel that this is a little bit easier again. So again, allow your tailbone to lean into the floor, and then your lower back lean into the floor. And just again, do it a few times. Pull the heels in towards the bottom, push the feet away. And you could start just to take this into beads of a necklace. So starting with our tailbone, imagine this is one bead, and then the pelvis is a bead. And then the very lowest vertebra is a bead. Allow that to begin to be picked up off the floor. And then the next part of the back is a little bead. Allow that to be picked up off the floor. Slowly moving at the spine. Noticing that your knees should be moving away from the body. Thigh bones appearing to lengthen. And you're just taking it to wherever it feels comfortable. And then again allow each bead to find its way into the floor. And take your time and notice any places that your body is just holding on. Can you ask it to be a little bit easier about the movement? And again, just take your time to come down into the floor. And then we're going to allow ourselves just to rest again into Shavasana. Allow yourself to rest into Shavasana. So as we begin to relax and yield into the floor, and how are we sensing the body? What is our connection to the body? And again, being unlike a scientist, almost like a quiet reflection. How do we sense the spine from the back of the head down to the tailbone? And again, playing our little spot the difference between left and right. Shoulders, arms, elbows, wrists, hands, hips, knees, legs. How do we sense and feel them? The heart area is an interesting thing. The heart area is where we take in, I think, we take in information and we hold it close to our heart. And the rib cage is there to protect it. But I think emotionally we protect ourselves. And in protecting ourselves emotionally, we do find, it's a place where we often find lots of tension behind the ribs. And all I want you to do now is just take a big deep exhale and allow the heart and the ribs just to feel a little heavier and rest them deeper into the floor. And just taking breath and just notice how it fills you. Just imagine the lungs and the heart are beating and just feel that it just fills you with all that breath. Notice as you breathe in where you can feel it rush to, where it flows to, where it fills the body. Just breathe as the whole body. And
Just know that you're within your life, you are loved. You're able to love. That you are safe in your home as you practice. You know all the sounds, you know all the smells. Just allow the body just to breathe and do nothing more. Just tune into the sensations you're feeling in the body. So let's find a nice way to roll to one side, to lean into one hand, and to bring yourself to seated. And just take, a comfortable seat. Just bring your hands to rest on your shins or on your thighs. Just connect to the breath as it comes into the body. Just notice how it feels to breathe sitting. And just picture in front of your nose, you've got a little circle. You're just going to draw a circle with your nose. Notice how your head leans one way and leans the other way. As you draw the circle, bringing your focus into your neck. Just feeling from your shoulders to your ears, muscles lengthening at any given time. You can make the circle bigger. You might choose to do a really small circle. And we could just let our gaze drop down, and we could think about bringing a shoulder up towards an ear. So roll your right shoulder towards your right ear and lean your right ear into the shoulder. And then tilting your chin back and roll your right shoulder back with it. And then we could let, again, our chin roll back to the chest on the right side. So bringing your right shoulder up towards your right ear towards your right shoulder. And as you bring your chin back, roll the shoulder backwards with it. So you keep the connection between ear and shoulder, and again roll it back towards the chest. And do it a few times. Can we do it a little bit easier? And then let's take the left shoulder up towards the left ear and roll the left ear to the shoulder. And again, as you chin the chin back, roll your left shoulder back a little bit. Heart comes up and forwards. Bring the shoulder back, head falls forwards, and again release down. Rolling back. you roll all the way around. So as you bring the left shoulder up to the ear, ear to shoulder, then roll the shoulder back, heart lifts, roll back. Bring the right shoulder to the right ear to right shoulder, roll all the way around. Bringing the right ear to the right shoulder to right ear. So you're always going to keep that connection. So as you bring the chin back, roll the shoulder back, keep the connection. You're going to feel your head go along the shoulder blades behind. Roll it to the left shoulder, it's come to meet it. Again, release the shoulder. Do it again a few times. And just noticing as you do this, you got a beautiful spiral in your spine, spiraling up the spine, heart lifts. We can go the other way. And let your head bow to centre.